not really sure why you looked over your shoulder at me when you said that. As just following on from what Judy talked about with the teams, some other areas that we've looked at there is, I've got to start saying the development, looking at the learning spaces and looking at the impact, and we've actually taken the teachers into the classrooms and made them sit where the kids sit and get them to look at what the kids look at and ask the questions, well, what are the kids seeing, what are they focusing on, how are you reinforcing what you're teaching? So I know Raymond spoke about it this morning, but the importance of the learning space on what you're trying to deliver and the impact it actually might have on them becoming unfocused has been something we've focused on. We've also introduced, we're beginning to introduce individual education plans, so we're starting to filter that in, and we're having the discussions about how to use portfolios and how to communicate information from one year level to the next, so that it doesn't just happen at 1 year level and then go into a cabinet and gather dust. So we're trying to make the learning ongoing and the teachers really always questioning and thinking about what they're doing in their classes and what the connection is to the child's actual development. Where are we up to? The area, what we're trying to achieve is to get our kids to self-manage. So we're trying to raise their level of moral reasoning. It was interesting listening to the people from the special school settings this morning that, and I'm not saying this flippantly or to be funny, but a lot of our kids actually demonstrate some of the very same behaviours. For some of our kids, getting them to sit in a seat is an achievement. And there are days where you just want to say, yep, good sitting, same as you. So we face similar challenges, and I think we can learn a lot from each other because of that. But as part of this, as part of getting the kids to learn to self-manage, we've also raised the bar for our teachers. We're continually raising the expectation that our teachers model what they're expecting from the kids, that they're looking at best professional practice at all times and looking at what they're doing in the classroom that the kids are looking at and can model their own behaviours on.
Sorry. We've been trying in that personal learning to get students to realise that along with their rights they do have responsibilities, and there's personal responsibility as well as that communal responsibility. We've put up signs in every room, and they're the signs, everyone has a right to learn, everyone has a right to feel safe. We've discussed what those things mean, and you can point to them when things go wrong. But I'd like to come back to my Year 10s that I was told were going to be absolutely diabolical. We talked a lot about personal responsibility and communal responsibility in Term 1, and then we've set off on 3 excursions since then, much to the amazement of a couple of my colleagues. And we've asked the kids to come back to us at a certain time to make sure that they've completed something by a certain time when they're out on excursion. And there's not been one of the kids that we've taken on excursion that hasn't actually had the personal responsibility to actually do that. So with that, we've said to them, or we said to them before they went out on these 3 excursions, and they were varied. One was looking at historical sites around the city, so they had to do that independently and call back in a couple of times at different places throughout the city. Another one was looking at the Port of Melbourne and looking at all the leisure activities around the Yarra River, so they had free time, they had to come back at certain times. And the most interesting one was down to the Western Treatment Plant at Werribee. And they were very refined in their language, the whole lot. So we said to them at the start, if you can show us that you've got that sort of maturity, we're prepared to run a camp for you later in the year. And I was telling someone this the other day, and they said, you have lost it. But we are going to run a camp. It's only going to be an overnight one, but it's down at the beach for the Year 10s. But that's about explaining that we trust them. If they've done the right thing, we have to stick to our word, and that's where we're at with that. What else have we done? We are trying to practice the Raymond Lewis model. It doesn't always work because the parts that don't work are the follow-up, which is the most important part of it. So in our team meetings and whole staff meetings, we're trying to encourage people to continually do that, not tell them that they're wrong in not doing it, but to try and cajole them into actually doing that. And to make sure, again, they have positive relationships with students. Because, again, many staff don't know if that's the right way to go or not. So we have to, I've got a term, hold them by the hand and take them a little way at a time, and hopefully by doing that we will actually be able to really practice the Raymond Lewis model.